Bobby W. Thomas II, not Junior II. And reason being, if I can go and throw it in here right fast, my father told me that he didn't want me to be a watered down version of him. He wanted me to be the same or better, the second coming. So I'm proud of telling people that I'm the second, not Junior. My birth certificate says Pritchard Lane, but my first memories of life is over here in Orange Grove. And that's when everybody was alive and I was, just a child, so I didn't have the worries of the world quite just yet. I'm enjoying being here and looking in my memory bank with my inside vision, and seeing some of the fun times and some of the people that I had fun with. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I was grieving behind that, man. I grieved when they tore these projects down. They made a comeback, and they're beautiful also too. They're a beautiful place now. Somewhere safe and beautiful for these children to grow up in. It wasn't quite so immaculate back in my gap, but yeah, man, I felt that. They tore these projects down. I felt it, y'all. And not only these, they tore quite a few more projects down in the city also, but these were mine, and that meant something to me, and I missed it. It was like taking away a part of my childhood. At least I could come through and I can show my son or whomever that I'm accompanied by. I can tell them, oh, that's where I grew up, and me and my brother did this here, and we shot basketball over here, we played football here, Candy Lady stayed here, things of that nature, the vegetable man. I could come through and I can reminisce. And for a while I couldn't. I could do it again now. It's quite not the same because I can't quite recognize certain spots because it's been, upgraded. And but that hurt me, man. It hurt me. It was like a piece of me had been erased almost, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like almost erased. That was all my fun memories of, like, when everybody was alive and everybody was around, and they tore it down. Like the house I grew up in, they tore it down. And I have one fun memory. It's a little side note. I have one fun memory. I had broke my leg one time, and I reckon it was broken pretty bad because I had to stay down for a while. I wasn't able to, like, just get a boot or some crutches. I had to be in the bed. So I had a favorite aunt, and my aunt, she was married in my family, right? But it seems like it was stronger. The love she had and that I became to have for her, it was stronger than just an in-law. So I remember I had a broken leg and I was in the crib, and she brought me a book, man. She brought me a book. And I'm gonna tell you something, this lady had no business coming to the projects, She had no reason to come here at all, but I guess besides me. And she brought me a book. It was one I think Mark Twain wrote, Tom Sawyer, if I'm correct. But anyway, she brought me. Now, I wish I would have kept up with that book. Oh man, I wish I would have kept it because she's not here with me anymore. But my Aunt Paulette, man, she brought me a book, man. I never, ever, ever forget that, man. I read that book 100 times. 100 times. And it wasn't just the book was all that, because I don't think it was. It was just the fact of who brought me the book. And the thoughtfulness she had, to bring me that, knowing that I don't even know if I told her, auntie, I can't go nowhere. I don't even think I made that call or had that conversation. She just took initiative, and brought me a book. She was like, a little fella and I stuck, I'm gonna bring up something to read, and that just meant a whole lot to me. I would say to my younger self, and I don't know if this fits the question or whatever, but I would definitely talk to him about education, because in school I was a slow learner, you all. I was a slow young learner, man, and I was afraid to ask questions because I didn't want people to know that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I missed out on a whole lot just by not asking questions. I don't know if it was pride or embarrassment. Whatever the emotion was, it wasn't good, and I should have ignored it. And I should have just talked to somebody about it, like, hey man, look, man, don't worry about them folks laughing at you because you don't know. Worry about what they're gonna laugh at you when you flunk. You need to ask them folks and tell them folks that you don't know, and ask more questions. That'll be the number one thing I tell them, ask questions. I had a dream of playing sports, you all, I did.
And you can't thug and you can't do sports. It just ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work, you all. And I was trying to thug it out and try to do sports. And my parents, like I said, my mother was always kind of sickly, so she couldn't really get out and about with me like that. My dad was working, and at my younger age, he had an accident on his job, broke his neck, so he was down for like 2-3 years. So he couldn't really interact with me with my sports. So the sports just went down like this, and the thugging went like that. So I would just tell him, hey man, ask more questions and take your sports more serious. Even if you're not even if it's not for professional purposes, it would be for a free education at least, you know. So I would definitely tell him to get your education, man. Try harder. No smoking, because that's a habit. I picked up that habit at a very, very young age. First of all, it's not going anywhere, bro. If you just got to have a smoke, trust me, it's not going anywhere. Smoke later in life, you have to stay focused. At your youngest age, when you're out in your younger age, you must stay focused. Any little thing that take away, because your brain is still growing and you're still trying to, let's see how I can explain it. You're still trying to figure out what you're gonna be, who you are, your personality. You're trying to figure out who you are, your identity. You're trying to figure out your identity. And if you're smoking, your thinking is different. Your thinking is different. You're not thinking as your natural self. So maybe you might come out with a good idea, maybe you won't. But I know if you come up with an idea with a natural focused brain, it won't be nothing that you will be mad about later on in life. You'll be like, I made that conscious decision with a clear, sound mind, and however it turned out, you would probably be okay with that. Well, thugging, man, got me in a lot of problems. Didn't earn a dime, first of all, let me tell y'all that. Didn't earn a dime thugging, so there's that. And then jail. And then I'll start with this. I was really, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging or sound like I'm promoting any kind of violence, but I was good at it, Joe, a little bit. I was good at it. And once people found out, oh, he's a good fighter, or he's a this, he's a that, so people would try me or try to instigate a situation, and me instead of saying, hey man, I don't have no beef with you, man, I'm cool on that, I'll try to satisfy the crowd. That was my problem. Because I know they thinking, oh, Bobby finna get him. So now I gotta prove them right, I got to get them. And that got me in a heap of trouble, man. I should, and if they were real friends or somebody who cared anything about me, or somebody who had a better mindset, they were like, yo bro, you can let that slide, man, we cool on that. And I didn't have that a lot. I had a lot of get them. And I would do it, and that would get me in a lot of trouble. Just nothing too major. I'm no serial killing or nothing like that, but just fights and things like that, you know. Just got me in a lot of unnecessary trouble, y'all, and my family. My goodness, my dad, you talking spending money, spending time. It was almost as if he was sentenced with me, you know, because he had to spend his money. I didn't have any. He had to send me his money. He had to spend his money on lawyer fees. He had to spend his money on my bonds. He had to spend his money on his gas to come and visit me. He had to spend his money on once I had a family and I went around, and he had to do his part with his grandchildren. So that was a time in my life I wish if I can go back, I would definitely change that. Because not just for me, for the suffering that I did, for the suffering that I took my parents through. Mainly my father, because my mom had been passed by the time I had turned the bad apple. She didn't get a chance to see that, thank goodness. Thank goodness. If life can give you any opportunity, man, to just provide for yourself, be comfortable and have your little fun, man, just capitalize on that. All the other stuff you see you ain't good at, leave it alone. So I had that conversation over and over and over with myself. Finally came to that conclusion, and I just been trying. That's just the best thing I can do. I tell myself, look, when you wake up, just try to make a good decision. Every time a decision we made, try to make your best decision. Think about it a second. I just made all those bad decisions, and now that I look back on them, I'm like, wowzers, you really did that. I was like so dumb. Anyhow, I had to dig deep on that a few times in my thought. Like, man, is this your family more important, bro? Or doing this, a hood strike, a neighborhood strike, or somebody giving somebody a conversation, oh man, he don't do no telling, or he gonna do his time, or he this, he that, or he gangster, he fight, he this. He shoot, he this, he that. Man, that ain't hitting on that, man. Anybody can do that. Anybody could do that. I had to figure that out. I'm like, you know what? All us in here probably the fault and shot and did this. That ain't nothing special. This is nothing special. But can you be a daddy? Can you stay out of jail? Let's see if you can conquer that role. Can you stay out of jail? I think that's a better subject to brag about. Can you stay out of jail? Can you give your daddy a night of good rest so he ain't got to worry about where his child at? He know he ain't chilling or at work. Can you do that? Can you provide for your children? Can you provide for your children, bro? Can you do that? So I had to have one of them conversations. Not one time, I had to keep having it because I was immature. I was very, I'm telling you, I didn't start trying to act like a grown person. I got in my 30s. Late 30s almost. 33 before I started like, you know what, I'm cool on that. The situation with my mom, when my mom passed and my oldest brother was still in prison. My baby brother got killed. My older brother was in prison. He didn't get a chance to say bye to neither one, his mama or his brother. I said, I can't go to jail and my daddy or something else go to happen and I'm not home. I'd be in a straitjacket. You wouldn't be able to handle that, Bob. So you got to dig, bro, deep, find whatever kind of, whatever you have inside, you got to dig real deep in it, pull it out, clean it off, shine it up, and use it because this ain't gonna get it if you don't want to suffer those consequences. So it was still a process because I still done things saying since I had that thought, that conversation with myself. I still had a few setbacks, a few dings and stuff like that. But for the most part, man, I ain't been to nobody jail in probably 12 years. And my children, I'm pretty sure they're proud of me for that. And that made me feel good. Man, that made me feel good. It made me feel so good to know my children think good of me.